Hi, I'm Richard Burns, and thanks for coming to In the Flow, the channel for spiritual beings about spiritual beings. All of our episodes are embedded with transformational energy. Thus, as you watch, you can receive healing energy.
My name is Dina Kleinman. I am an energy healer, an intuitive reader. I'm also a hypnotherapist, and I'm a vocal channel. I've known about it pretty much my whole life. When I was, when my mom was younger, she used to put hands on people's heads and remove their headache. And my dad studied yoga when I was really young, but when I grew up and started to ask questions, they were kind of not really doing any of that. But so they couldn't teach me, but it kind of stayed with me. And then it just kind of happened. I took a class. I remember I was at my parents' house one morning and I was looking on my phone and I saw an email from a local spiritual center. And I'd been ignoring those emails for years, but something about that email had caught my eye. And so I read what it said, understood every word, but I had no idea what it all meant altogether. But I knew that I had to go there. I knew that I had to take this class. So I went there, not really knowing what I was signing up for. And that what it ended up being, it was a class that prepared people to do psychic readings. So it was a class where we spent 13 months learning how to do intuitive readings professionally. But really what we spent 13 months doing is working on ourselves. So bringing up everything that we want to hide and have been wishing and trying to hide all our life. I've been bringing it up and out because in order to do a good reading for somebody, you have to know the difference between yourself and the other person. If you don't know that difference, then you're going to put too much of your own filter on a reading, and then the information you give a person will be biased. So that's kind of how it started, and it surprised me because it was, once I got the hang of it, it was really the easiest thing I have ever done. It just kind of flowed. I didn't expect myself to be there. And then after that, I just kept taking class after class, and it wasn't like I was looking for a class. It was just like in my head. I would wake up one day and I had a thought, okay, I have to study Reiki and I have to be a Reiki teacher. I had no clue what Reiki was, but I went and I became a teacher. And so class after class, and here I am today. It was the best gift I have ever gotten. And the reason for that is I knew I was on the wrong path. I knew I had closed off all of my emotions after my mom had passed away. I wasn't dealing with her death. I wasn't really dealing with anything. I was pretending I was a robot, and I was doing a really good job at it, but I knew that this isn't the way to go. I knew that there's more to me. There's more to my purpose. There's a bigger reason for me to be here on Earth. And so, but I chose to ignore it. A big, I would say, pushing point for me to start working on myself and to embrace, I want to say, my purpose and my function in this life came in 2009 when I woke up just like I do it in the morning, went to the bathroom, I started brushing my teeth, and I noticed that all of a sudden there's toothpaste all over me and there's toothpaste all over the floor. And so I started looking at myself and I realized I'm drooling. And I tried to stop drooling, but I couldn't stop drooling. And so I look up in the mirror and what I see is, you know those pictures of clowns where one side of the face is smiling and the other side, yeah? So that's exactly what I see. What had happened was I had Bell's palsy, which is paralysis of this facial nerve, which completely paralyzed right down the middle of the right side of my face. And I knew why it happened. I knew what it was because a coworker had it maybe a year or two prior to that. But the reason it happened was because I had shut down my emotions, which for an empath is not really possible. And so when Bell's palsy happened, on one hand, I was like, oh, man, I gotta go. I gotta start working on myself. But on the other hand, I was really grateful because, and this is how spirit works. Spirit will find the most perfect way to get your attention. So spirit got my attention by giving me something that wasn't dangerous. It wasn't life-threatening. It didn't hurt, but it's something that I would see every single day for the rest of my life. And I still see that. Still the right side of my face is partially paralyzed. I'm okay with it. I made peace with it. And I'm actually grateful for it because I'm here with you today, I would say, because of that. And because it could have been something much, much worse. When I got Bell's palsy, I realized that I have to work with spirit. I can't be fighting who I am. And I remember one day I was walking my dog, and I remember where it was. It was next to a big bush on the road. And I looked up and I said to the universe, all right, I give up. I give in, you win. You figure out what I need to do. And that's when all the teachers started coming and everything. All of my clients are going through their spiritual awakening process. Some of them are right in the beginning of their process. They've just touched this beautiful world of spirit. They just got a glimpse of this connection to universal energy of all there is. They just realized that they're not alone in this world. When I look at a person's energy, what I want to see is energy coming from the universe through the top of their head, going all the way through their body, all the way to the center of the earth, and then back up. So if you think of pictures of, your typical chakra pictures where you have a person sitting like this, and there's a line of energy going through them, that's pretty much what I want to see. That signals healthy movement of energy. My primary sense is empathic or emotions. I would say, that's the one that was naturally developed in me before I started doing the work that I do. And so what I will do is I will have a person say their name 3 times. I will tune into their voice, and I will check in with my body. And by the way, I don't have to tune into their voice. I can also go through a photograph or even through a name. I just need to have their permission first. Permission to look at them, and also a specific request what to look for. And once that happens, I will scan my body and see where does the energy hit me at first. And that's where I would start. And as soon as I start talking about that, then in my head I would get pictures. The pictures are like memories. So if you think about a movie that you have watched, or maybe you think about what your living room looks like, if you try to imagine it, you'll see it in your head. And that's pretty much how I see it. I also hear things also in my head. So kind of like memories of conversations. And there are certain things I just know. And there is a difference between seeing, hearing, and knowing. Knowing, it's much more grounded in a way, and it's much more direct. And then when I do channeling, that's a little bit different. That is, I will let my guide, and I don't just let any spirits in. I have specific guides, specific high vibrational beings that I allow to use my body to bring messages through. So what I will do there is I will have the Dina part of me step aside, and I will just talk. So once I connect with that energy, it feels like this flow that ends up in my tongue moving and words coming out. And there has to be a lot of trust there, because I don't know what I'm going to say until I actually say it. So the trust has to be, oh, I hope I don't say something terrible, or I hope I don't hurt somebody's feelings. And that, of course, has never happened. But yeah, it did take some work to build that trust. People who came into my life, they have always been people that I needed in my life. And because of that, and because the underlying foundation of my relationships was love, because I didn't know another way to live, I was on higher vibrations. Again, not knowing those words, not knowing that terminology, but that was what it was. And in my relationships, I felt safe. And when you feel safe in the relationship, you're not triggered by those little things. Mission is, it's an interesting word. I don't really think of it as a mission. I think of it more of a desire or hope. I want to leave on earth a better place than I found it, or rather, I would like to contribute a little bit more to life than I took. In other words, I don't want to be a waste of air. And the way I contribute is if I can make life a little bit better for the person next to me, for a friend, for a family member, for somebody I run into at the store, for a client, if I can do that, then I've done my mission.